Hello and welcome to a new edition of Inside Egypt. Today is a special edition that covers the first National Youth Conference that is currently taking place in Sharm el-Sheikh with the attendance of President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi. As part of the first National Youth Conference, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi attended on Thursday a session on the causes of violence in stadiums and retaining spectators. The President also participated in a session entitled The Ideal Model of the Egyptian State with Prime Minister Sharif Ismail and Minister of International Cooperation Dr. Sahar Nasr attending the session. President el-Sisi highlighted the importance of grooming the youth to lead the future, stressing that Egypt is in need for speedy work and development. The head of state also reiterated the significance of a monthly youth convention for the benefits of such experience and said that it is important to show people that there isn't centralization of power. President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi also called for Egyptians to face all attempts that aim at creating economic problems to weaken Egyptian unity. The President made a statement in a forum that was held to tackle the currency rate on the sidelines of the youth conference. The details in the following report.
President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi called for all Egyptians to face attempts that aim at creating economic problems to weaken Egyptian unity. The President made the statement in a forum that was held to tackle the currency rate on the sidelines of the youth conference that is taking place in Sharm el-Sheikh. He also said that Egyptians should depend on their own resources and to be more patient, especially that Egypt survived all attempts to destabilize it. He noted that all economic activities carried out by the armed forces are equivalent to 1 or 1.5% from their total local production. He added that the armed forces do not want to compete with the private sector, noting that they pay all required taxes and that their work is supervised by accountability state authority. El-Sisi noted that 1,350 integrated projects will be delivered in 2018. Meanwhile, in his meeting with a number of youths on the sidelines of the conference, the President said that Egypt will face all the challenges, but this will require more time. He added that all categories of the society have the right to live a decent life. He noted that youths form the bridge that connect between the country and the people and that their demands are respected. He also renewed his call to all member youths in the parliament to play a vital role in aiding young people to be nominated in their local elections and to encourage parties to play the same role.
As part of his activities on the sidelines of the National Youth Conference, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi attended a session to discuss the participation of youths in Egypt's political life. The President called on forming a number of groups to follow up the cases of arrested youths who are not involved in violent acts and who have not got a judicial ruling yet. The details in this report.
As part of his activities on the sidelines of the National Youth Conference, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi attended a session to discuss the participation of youths in Egypt's political life. The President called on forming a number of groups to follow up the cases of arrested youths who are not involved in violent acts and who have not got a judicial ruling yet. He added that he will approve all recommendations presented by those groups according to law. Meanwhile, in another session entitled New Vision for Education, President el-Sisi asserted the importance of creating a new strategy for educational development, considering the challenges the country is facing. The President also called for creating untraditional means to solve problems and challenges that the educational process is facing, stressing on the importance of character building alongside education. Meanwhile, President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi on Wednesday with 3,000 young people in a marathon in Sharm el-Sheikh on the sidelines of the National Youth Conference. El-Sisi said in his address to the youth at the end of the marathon that Egyptians seek peace, security, stability building, construction, as well as combating terrorism and violence. He also said that Egypt is the cradle of civilization and the peacemaker. He added that this marathon came as a message of peace to the world. The president also inspected with the Minister of Culture, Helmi and Namnam, an art exhibition on the sidelines of the conference.
President Fattah al-Sisi also called for all media outlets to be accurate in dealing with news and reports related to external and internal affairs. El-Sisi also stressed that the country is keen on maintaining the independence of all media outlets. He made the statement in a forum that was held to tackle the media impact on the public opinion of Egypt's youth on the sidelines of the conference.
President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi attended on Wednesday a session held at the National Youth Conference in Sharm el-Sheikh on the influence of media on shaping the public opinion. Many anchors, academics and MPs attended the discussions. The president asserted the focal role of media outlets and its direct influence on the public opinion. He called on all media outlets to pursue honesty, sincerity and impartiality as the best blueprint for the media to convey its message. Meanwhile, President Sisi said that he will meet with the Egyptian youth every month to discuss the recommendations of the first National Youth Conference. President Sisi added during the second day of the National Youth Conference that the monthly meetings will provide an opportunity for young people to discuss their views. He also assured that he will follow up the implementation of these recommendations with the officials.
On the sidelines of Egypt's National Youth Conference, our correspondent Linda Abdel Latif conducted this interview with Minister of Trade and Industry Engineer Tariq Qabil.
I'm being joined right now by Minister of Industry and Trade Engineer Tariq Qabil. Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us today, Nile TV International.
Thank you. How are you?
Could you please talk to us a little bit more about the workshop that you participated in and the one that you will be participating in?
The first workshop was about how to connect the technical/vocational training and development as well as education with the need of the industry and the growth in the future. And this is also very, very important topic. We have a severe shortage of proper trained blue colors. We have a lot of white colors, more than what we need. So the issue is how can we balance that, particularly taking into consideration the national project as well as the industry growth in which sectors.
What about the other workshop that you will be participating in after a while?
The other one was the SMEs, which I have participated yesterday as well. There is another workshop today. SMEs is a very, very important topic as well. It is a big part of the economy. However, big part of the SMEs is still an informal economy. So we're working hard through different legislations as well as motivation in order to move the informal to formal.
And what are the projects that are currently being implemented by the Ministry of Industry and Trade in the field of course, small and medium enterprises that are targeting the youth especially?
I think there are two, I would say, main programs. One, the entrepreneur type program that will help youth who has certain ideas that he needs to implement. And we have a few incubators. The incubator is when you have an idea, we help you to stay in that place with a low rent for 3 years until the idea became scalable, and then after that they move out and go to a proper industrial areas. So we have several areas in incubator. I mean, 2 weeks ago we were in Mansoura, last week we were in Qena and Suhag and Luxor. Wonderful projects have been implemented from dry tomato packaging and exporting to manufacturing of computer batteries, many other ideas. The second field which is quite important is making sure that there are certain areas in which we will build a small manufacturing facility for small players, mainly probably SMEs, more of the S than the M. We will very soon start building a small industrial area for SMEs, already built, completely built. All what you need is to put the machines and start running. We're building one in Port Said. We're launching one in Badr as well as Sadat, on top of the other areas as well.
Your Excellency, thank you so much for joining us today on Nile TV.
Thanks a lot. Thank you.
The youth conference consists of different workshops that tackles the fields of education and scientific research, political participation, cultural identity, religious dialogue, economy and entrepreneurship, as well as many other topics of interest of youth. Nile TV's Linda Abdelatif conducted the following interview with a student at the Presidential Leader Program who spoke about her participation in the conference.
On the sidelines of the second day of the National Youth Conference, I'm being joined right now by Basma Masrag, who is a student at the Presidential Leadership Program. Basma, thank you so much for joining us today on Nile TV International.
Thank you so much for having me.
Could you please talk to us a little bit more about the workshop that you will be participating in today?
Well, I'm participating in the workshop that discusses political participation, and I have a paper that I wrote together with two other colleagues, and it discusses how to institutionalize youth policies within the government and how to empower youth more within the government.
Now, and what are the other topics that you will be shedding light as well?
Well, these are the main topics I'll be shedding light in my own paper, but of course I'll be participating in the different other workshops as a participant. For instance, I'm very interested in a workshop that will start in a few minutes that's going to discuss cinema in Egypt, and that I would really like to attend and participate in as well.
What is so interesting about it?
It's interesting because it discusses cinema and it discusses identity. So you get to understand the collaboration between these two things, identity of the Egyptian people, together with cinema, which a lot of people argue that cinema actually has a huge effect into how we identify ourselves as Egyptians.
Okay. And how do you see the importance of holding this National Youth Conference and being a participant in it?
Well, I think it's a huge step in the Egyptian direction, the government's direction, that it's more interested in youth. It actually cares about what youth have to say, and what is more to prove that they care than having such a conference. It's huge. I think you have seen it yourself with 3,000 young people, and we all have different aspirations, and we're here to discuss it. So I think it sends a clear message out to everyone that the Egyptian government cares about youth. Youth is one of its main priorities, if not the most important priority. So that says a lot, and it's very important to me as a 24-year-old that to see my government actually cares about what I have to say and can actually implement some of the recommendations I can come up with.
And how did you find finally the Presidential Leadership Program, your experience on that?
Well, from the first batch, it's an amazing experience, honestly. I got to participate with the 499 other participants from the different governorates, and that was actually the whole experience to me. The richness in it was the diversity, how we come from different governorates, we come from different social backgrounds, we come from different education backgrounds, and everyone has something to add, and the discussions even in the classrooms are very important. PLP depends very much on experiential learning. So this learning process is not only about the classroom, it's not about only being in the class and being taught what the government does. It's actually about visiting such government institutions and knowing what they do for ourselves. So we go there, we see things for ourselves. We openly discuss with everyone. We discuss from the president to the prime minister to ministers to different the MPs, the members of the parliament, and so that it's a huge experience. It's a huge exposure to me, and I actually, yeah, I definitely loved my experience as PLP since it's ending in a few weeks.
Thank you, Basma. Thank you so much for joining us today on Nile TV International.
Thank you very much for having me.
Nile TV's correspondent Linda Abdel-Latif conducted this interview with Dr. Hussein Amin, Professor of Journalism and Mass Communication, and he will tell us more about the role of media.
I'm being joined right now by Dr. Hussein Amin, who's a professor of journalism and mass communication at the American University in Cairo. Dr. Hussein, thank you so much for joining us today on Nile TV International.
My pleasure.
Could you please give us like an overview on the workshop that you participated in yesterday on media and the other workshop that you will be participating in today as well?
Yesterday's workshop was on the media and development, and I was joined with some scholars who participated in the workshop and give some thoughtful ideas regarding the use of media in development. My contribution was about how young generations can easily access and convey success stories from different parts of Egypt, whether this successful cases were about providing service in the rural communities or about products. The most important thing is when the youth get together and produce something or do something meaningful, we would like very much to have this seen, whether through videos, YouTube, or through a blog, or through social media, Facebook and Twitter, because we know that they can really talk about their projects much more than we are. The other thing, of course, the other perspective has to do with the state national campaigns of awareness regarding health and sanitation, regarding political participation, regarding education, culture, and the like.
And how influential do you see the media on shaping awareness and shaping ideologies?
A good question, because I think that the developmental model is suffering right now in this incredible number of networks that are offering entertainment instead of meaningful programs. So nobody actually is paying attention to what is the developmental model in the media right now, but most people are looking into this model as if it's something from the past, and therefore we are providing them with some examples that to make this model survive. Example about the use of infotainment and the use of edutainment, and both are new concepts that are implemented in providing the audiences with programs, movies, documentaries, or soap operas. But you know, there are messages directly, carefully designed to approach and touch on the target as well as the general audiences. So we talked about this also yesterday, and I think there are some wonderful opportunities when you talk about traditional media as well as the new media together. Approaches that has to do with introduction of concepts and the campaigns on traditional media and the continuation of these campaigns over social media to maximize the reach of the target as the general audiences. As for today, the second part of your question, we're going to talk about public opinion and media and public opinion, especially for the youth. I think that a lot to be said in this respect, because the region itself, it's suffering from failed states, civil wars. In Egypt, we have war on terror. In addition to, over the past 10 years, instead of having number of channels, we have now satellite broadcasting with over, in Nilesat alone, 1,280 channels. We have 5 groups of satellites over the state of Egypt, so and they reach Egyptians, and they have content that, whether we like it or not, there are certain concerns regarding this kind of concepts. In addition to the introduction of social media, Facebook 10 years ago, 9 years ago actually, was just started and gained incredible success. And right now, with the rest of the social media, are good part of the media scene. They did not come alone with major appeals that deals with interactivity and immediacy, but also they brought with them concept had to do with citizen journalism, and this concept became very popular because everybody now is a media person, so they contribute and they express views, ideas, and opinions. These are, in general, good if they are really put within the frame of national interest.
On the sidelines of the National Youth Conference, Nile TV's reporter Linda Abdel Latif conducted the following interview with Dr. Midhat El Adl, who is a writer.
I'm being joined right now by the well-known writer and author, Dr. Midhat El Adl. Doctor, thank you so much for joining us today on Nile TV International.
You're welcome anytime.
Would you please talk to us a little bit more about the workshop that you will be participating in?
The first workshop was about cinema. How does it affect the people, the youth? It was very nice. I have many guests. Ahmad Murad, a very good writer, and also Marwan Hamid is a very important director. But I think the time was not enough to discuss all the problems of cinema. But I think this is just a station on the way, if we can say. And another one was about what happened to the Egyptian. It is a very important book by Dr. Galal Amin. It was another one, and it was very important as well. And then I will have another one about the renovation of Islam, how to talk to people, because the people was, what you can call it, after Muslim Brotherhood, the people, they was choked by the shape of the Muslim, by the thoughts of them. So we are talking about how to renovate the Islamic speech.
Regarding the previous workshops that you've mentioned, how engaged did you find the youth during this workshop?
I think when I come to the conference yesterday, I say, like many conferences I have been in many times before, but today I feel very ambitious. I feel I want to do something for the people. I found the people. I want to share many workshops, not only the one for me. I have to, but for the time being, I have been in 3 and 4, and I will be all the day in this workshop. I think this is very important to show people, young people, our experience in life. So I really feel very satisfied with the conference and with the workshop.
Now, as a famous writer and author, how influential do you find literature in shaping the opinions of people in general and youth in particular?
Literature, yes. It was very effective during the 40s and 50s, because we have a very great writers like Taha Hussein, and also the people, you're ready to accept new liberal thoughts about. But now the book has been yes. So I think cinema has been the good medium, the good medium to go to the people more than the book. Okay, book for the Arabs, is something in the third degree after drama and after cinema.
So how can we get them back to get interested more in...
It happened now by some new authors like Ahmad Murad is in the bestsellers, but I think we need more because it's not just about the bestseller, but how about what's inside the bestseller? Is it value or something just quantitative that we want to achieve and to work for?
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you so much for joining us today, Nile TV.
You're welcome anytime.
Well, that's all for today's edition of Inside Egypt. I'm Shina Adel. Thank you for watching.